Okay, end poll. Right, question 1 was a very close one. Question 1 was a very close one. A and B came extremely close. A and B, but A has won. So I am going to do question A. Okay, now let's see. Study the pattern of the equilateral triangles below and answer the questions that follow. So in this case, unlike it being a number of sticks pattern, it is a perimeter pattern. Do you see that? So it says the perimeter of the second figure is 5 units. Perimeter means what? We are counting the outside of the shape. So you are not counting the sticks that are inside the shape, right? So let's see. The first one, there are only 3 on the outside. So I recommend in such patterns that you write it as a number. So shape number 1, okay? Let me say shape number over here. Then I'm going to say shape number 1, 2, and 3. Shape number 1 has a perimeter of 3 because all 3 sticks are on the outside of the shape. Let's look at shape number 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they gave you such a hint, such a nice hint over there, just telling you that it's going to be 5 units. So for the ones that did it, yes, there is a memorandum, guys. If you missed it, you're getting the memo after the bootcamp. So for the ones I don't cover in the bootcamp, do not panic. You're getting a full memorandum with mark allocations. All right. Are we all with me now? There we go. Shape number 3, for those who done it, or for those who can see the question on the screen. What is the perimeter for shape number 3? Thank you very much. We're counting the sticks on the outside. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, most of you voted that I do number A, which I thought was the easiest one, but maybe now you understand now that I've explained. In shape number 4, if you're looking at the pattern that we have here, 3, 5, 7. What's going on with this pattern? What's going on with the pattern? It's a pattern that has to do with perimeter. 3, 5, 6. There we go. We are adding 2. So if we're adding 2, what do you think shape number 4 will be? The perimeter of shape number 4. Yes, Kendra. Hi, Kendra.
Hi, it will be 9.
It will be 9 because we say 7 plus 2, which is 9. You do not have to write this working out, guys. As you can see, this is only out of 1 mark. So we will literally just be marking the 9. Okay. Are we good? So that went very quickly. And because question A and B came so close, I'm going to do B as well for you guys. How's that? I think we should do B. It's worth it. So I'm first going to ask you, what type of pattern do we have here? What type of pattern do we have here? We have 3, 5, 7. There's something going on. Nope. What type of pattern is it? We have to find the formula of this pattern. So it is a what type of pattern? It's a linear pattern, guys. Linear means you're adding the same thing, linear or arithmetic. Okay. Now let us find the rule of this pattern. Okay, I see Abu already found it, but let's remind each other, what do we do with the constant difference? You can find it through observation. Okay, should I teach you guys how to find patterns through observation? First, you check, am I adding or subtracting something? Okay. This is part of an exam tip now. What I mean is, to go from 1 to 3, how much are you adding? To go from 1 to 3, how much would you add? You add 2, right? Okay. And then to go from 2 to 5, how much would you be adding? 2 to 5. We're adding 3. So we're not adding the same thing. So we're definitely not adding or subtracting the same thing, right? Now you move on. You check if you have to multiply or divide. Or divide. Now, if I say 1 times 2. What's my answer? 2. And then how would I get to 3? I would have to add 1, right? So let me write this down. I'd say 1 times 2, that's only going to give me 2. And then I'll have to add 1 to get 3, right? Well, let's check with the next one. 2 times 2 plus 1 would give me what? 5. Oh, I see something happening. 3 times 2 plus 1 gives me, nice, Abu, 7. So then what's our number pattern? It has to be 2 times n plus 1. Do you see how you do it through observation? Do you see how you do it through observation? And if multiplying and dividing doesn't work, you have to try squaring, cubing, and rooting. Okay, so that's how you solve through observation. All right, Tile, raise your hand, darling, and tell me where I lost you exactly. So then A and B would be, yeah, that's A and B. So it's 2 times n plus 1. That's 3 marks. Nice marks, hey? All right, Tile? Yes, you can use it with Tn equals An plus C, or you can just use observation. Okay. Why are we multiplying? Because adding and subtracting didn't work, Oratile. Remember I said, these are the 3 methods. If you're going to solve this through observation, these are the 3 methods we use. So we first checked, do I have to add and subtract something? I said to you, let's check 1 plus 3, 1 to 3, you have to add 2, right? Here you have to add 3. So that's not working because you're not adding the same thing. So we definitely know we're not going to be adding anything. Okay, so you move on to multiplication and division. So I said to you, what's 1 times 2? And you guys said it's 2, and then you have to add 1 to get to 3. Try it with 2 times 2 plus 1. You indeed get 5. Try it with 3 times 2 plus 1. You indeed get 7. Therefore, your number pattern has to be 2 times n, which means any, okay? That is from observation, Gwena. There are a lot of ways to find this method. There's also the multiplier method. Unfortunately, I can't do all of them. And there's also the method that Abu has written there for us. Okay, where the teacher says, let me show you. Okay, I need space. Tn, so the general term that you want equals An plus C. Okay. No personal questions in the chat, Dumelo. Remember the rules. Remember the rules. And then in this case, A would be your constant difference. So this is the constant difference. As you can see, we're adding 2 all the time. So that's where 2 would go. And then C would be the T0, or the term before term 1. I know that sounds terrible, but I'm about to explain right now. Term before, what am I writing? Before T1. What I mean is term 1 is how much, guys? Look at the shape numbers. Shape number 1, how much is it? It's 3. So if there was a term before this, remember we're adding 2, right? So if you go backwards, if there was a term before this, what would it be? If we're adding 2 going that way, then what would it be? It would be 1. Do you see what I mean? Isn't that the same formula that we just found now? Because then it would say Tn equals constant difference 2 times n plus the term that would be before this, which is plus 1. Do you see, guys? Nice. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we good? Yes, princess. You should learn this formula. Okay, I see thumbs up. Now I'm going back to the poll to check the next question. Cheza, do you have a question? Oh, Cheza's hand just vanished. Never mind. Okay, number 2, you guys voted for B. That was a very close vote. Very, very close vote. Okay, let's go to number 2. I need to close this poll before I do that. There we go. Okay, let's check number B. Ethan needs to buy furniture and took out a hire purchase loan for 20,000 Rand. The interest rate on the loan is 11% and a 15% deposit was required. First is calculate the total amount that Ethan would have paid for the loan. And as you can see, that is a whopping 5 marks. Okay, that's 5 marks. That's going to tell you how much Ethan is actually going to pay. Now, first, he has to pay a deposit. Okay, the deposit means that's the amount he pays in cash. Tell me from the information, what percentage is the deposit? What percentage does he pay in cash? Nice, Abu, 15%. So then you have to find out how much that is in amount, well, in money. So you're going to say 20,000 rands multiplied by 15%. So how much is our deposit? Calculators out. Let me number this. This is B, number 1. How much is that? 3,000 Rand. Okay, 3,000 Rand. And then out of what is left, okay? Out of what is left, let's first find out what's left. So out of 20,000 Rand, nice, Abu. Out of the 20,000 Rand, I have to subtract my deposit. Because deposit means you pay it up front, right? You pay it from the beginning. So actually, you're going to be left with 17,000 Rand. So what type of interest are we using here, guys, for hire purchase? You guys should know this. For hire purchase, what type of interest do we use? Simple or compound interest? Simple interest. So what's my formula for simple interest? Let's do this. Give myself some space. There we go. A, which is accumulated amount, equals principal amount, open bracket, 1 plus interest rate times the number or the period. Okay, the number of years. All right, now let's substitute. My principal amount is what? How much did I? Is it okay if we do it like this? Yes, that's what, yes, that's the same. Onalo, that's perfect. Okay. My principal is 17,000 Rand. Why is it not 20,000 Rand? I know someone might be confused. Tell us, guys, why is it not 20,000 Rand? Thank you. He already paid the 3,000. So you can't charge him interest on money that he already paid, right? That's not allowed. So it's going to be 1 plus my interest rate for the loan is what? What's my interest rate for the loan? 0.11 over how many years? 3 years. Okay, how much is this? Let's all take out our calculators. I'm going to use my phone because I suck at bringing my calculator apparently. Oh, I was done. Not really, guys, not really. Okay, Abu, I'm gonna give more people a chance to answer this. Guys, you need to be active participants. Thank you, Kwezi. Thank you. More people are answering. Yes, Puseletso. No, Puseletso's hand went down. There we go. That is 22,610 rands. Woo! Do you see this, guys? So exam tip for this one is learn your formulae. Okay. We already wrote down the formula for simple interest. This will help you with A as well. Okay. Let me write down the formula for compound interest. So you said for simple interest, Is it because of percentage? Yes, Morange, exactly that. Because remember, it's 11 over 100. So it's 11 divided by 100. So then you would take the comma back twice and you'll end up on 0.11. Tyler, sorry. That is a good question. Let me put mark allocation for us. Boop, boop. Okay, first thing, you're going to get marks for finding out how much your deposit is. So you're going to get a mark for the method of multiplying by 15%. You're going to get a mark of using the correct amount. And then you're going to get a mark for substitution. You need to know your formulas. You're going to get a mark for substituting 17,000 Rand because that's the correct principal amount, okay? And then for substitution over here, and of course, your final answer. Now listen carefully, guys. Let's say you use the wrong principal amount. Let's say you substituted 20,000 Rand over there. You will lose this mark over here, but you'll get a final mark, which we call continued accuracy, which means you did the correct calculation with the wrong amounts. Okay, so that's 5 marks. So you get 5 marks for finding out the deposits. 2 marks, excuse me. And then you get 3 marks for the accumulated amount calculation. Yes, I am, Tika. Yes, I am. Okay, let us write down our formulae for simple and compound interest for everybody who might not know them. We already wrote the one for simple interest. I'm just going to reiterate it here. Simple interest. That is A equals P1 plus I N. Okay. And then for compound interest, thank you, Abu. A equals principal 1 plus interest. This time our number of years is in the exponents. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we all good with this one? You can use the formulas I used to do A as well, because A asked for simple and compound interest. So you must just substitute properly. Okay, you must just substitute properly. Yes, Saneli, so you may unmute.
Hello, ma'am. Can you use a compound interest with, say, like a sum for simple interest?
No, you're not allowed to do that. You know why? Simple interest means you are getting the same interest over and over, okay? So if you use the wrong formula, simple interest means, let's say I borrow you money, Saneli Sona.
Yes.
And let's say I say, I'm going to charge you 10% interest. 10% of 5,000 Rand is 500 Rand, right? So simple interest means I'm going to charge 500 Rand every year. So 500 Rand this year, 500 Rand next year, until you're done with the loan, I'm going to charge you 500 Rand. Whereas compound interest means, let's say you pay a certain amount. Let's say first month you owe me 5,000, you're going to pay me 500, right? But then you pay your loan and then it goes down. Now your loan is 3,000. Well, now your interest is going to change. It's going to become 200 because 10% of 2,000 Rand is 200 Rand. So do you see that you have to adjust and use the correct methods?
Yes, I see.
There we go. So you just have to, all you need to know is that for hire purchase, we always use simple interest. Always. They won't say it in the question, but you know, if you see a hire purchase question, you're using simple interest. Okay.
Right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. Fatima, my dear, I saw you said you were confused.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, Fatima.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine, ma'am. Ma'am, I started the question at A, because they gave us like the interest rate,
They're two different
amount.
questions, Fatima. A and B are two different questions.
Oh, and I started by A. I didn't do B.
So did you use these percentages to do B?
No.
Oh.
I thought I needed to use them. Then I read the question nicely. Then I was like, oh, fine.
No, they're two different questions, my dear. So what happened is, I don't know if you were here, but everyone voted for which one I must do because I can't do the whole paper, okay? So everyone voted for B. That's why I skipped A. But you're going to get a memo, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
There we go. And then I see in this chat, ma'am, how did we get 22,610? Look here, Khaukelo. This is a formula for simple interest, right? So P is your principal amount, meaning the amounts that you borrowed, okay? Amounts that you loaned. This is your loan amount. And then 1 plus, and your I will be your interest rates. And your N is your number of years. Whoop, some space, there we go, years. Okay, so then we just substituted. Okay, we just substituted. P, we borrowed 17,000 because you paid 3,000 cash. So you technically only borrowed 17,000 Rand. And then you substitute in your calculator and you should get 22,610. Hope I've helped you a lot. Hopefully. It is a liability, do not do it. Unless you have a, use for it. Okay, question 3, 60% of us voted for me to do C and D. Let's see. Oh, we have stepped into algebra. C and D. The following says simplify. What's the difference between simplify and solve? Oh, we didn't do B2. Oh, geez. Sorry, Abu. If Ethan paid equal monthly payments, how much did he pay per month? So at the end of the day, Ethan has to end up paying how much? 22,610, right? That's how much Ethan has to pay. How many months does Ethan have to pay this? Look at the question carefully. Look at the information. Nice, Tyler. How did you get it? 36 months. Nice, because it says over 3 years, and we know 1 year has 12 months. So on the side here, you can say 3 years times 12 equals 36 months. So therefore, he's going to have to pay per month. You have to divide this amount by 36, and that gives you 628 Rand. Ooh, I see different decimals. What's going on? Oh, it's 06. It's 06. Another tip, guys, be careful of rounding off. Okay? It's okay. But Tyler, I see you say 05, which means it's just a rounding issue. I'm not sure what number was after the 05, but let's remind ourselves of rounding off. Give me a few more decimals that you had, guys. 628, comma, it was 05 what? What was after the 5? It was a 5. Okay, so it was 5, 5, 5, 6. Okay, so remember rounding off, we want 2 decimal places. With money, it's always 2 decimal places. Okay, so we want 2 decimal places. And then you have to look at the number after the one you want. So we're looking at this guy over here. If this number is 5 or above, then you round up, which means this one increases and it becomes 6. But if this number is 4 and below, it becomes a rounding down, like you leave it as 0, 5. Okay, Dumelo, patience, I see your question. We got the 12 from there being 12 months in a year. You see in the information, it says you have to pay it. Ethan has to pay the loan back over 3 years. So I said, they asked for monthly payments. So in 1 month, how much is Ethan going to pay? So you're going to say in 3 years, we have 36 months because 1 year has 12 months. Okay. You see where the 12 comes from? Hopefully. Okay. Are we happy about this one, guys? And for this one, mark allocation is, first of all, the method of division. And you're going to get a mark for this 36 months. We want to know that you know that it's 36 months. And then for the answer, that's your 3 marks. Dineo says, what if the decimal is, for example, 68,004? Okay, Dineo, I'm going to ask you. 4 is below 5, isn't it? So does my 0 become a 1 or do I leave it as a 0? Remember I said if it's 5 or above, you round up. If it's 4 or below, there we go. So then you're going to have 628,00. Nice. So you got it. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, so those are 3 marks, guys. So it's for the method of division. This is a method mark. Okay. The 36 months, it's an accuracy mark. It has to be the exactly 36 months. And then, of course, your final answer. Okay. Nice. Now let's go back here. Now I forgot what you guys voted for because I'm getting old. Okay. Question 3. We voted for C and D. Okay. We voted for C and D. All right, so it says simplify. What's the difference between simplify and solve? Solve means at the end, you need to have an answer. So you need to have, therefore, x equals something, okay? Simplify means you're still gonna have variables in the answer. Means you're still gonna be left with something, something x plus something, something x. There we go. Thank you, Tando. Now let's start with C because you guys wanted C and D. So C is 2 brackets. While I write these down, I want you guys to tell me how we're going to simplify it. We use FOIL. Beautiful, Kwezi. X plus 2y. Nice. So what does FOIL stand for all those people who might not have heard it before? I promise it's not aluminium foil. Abu, stop being silly. There we go. F stands for first. So we multiply the first terms in both brackets. I'm going to write here. First. Okay, a third x times a third x. Oh, let's start with multiplying fractions. Okay, what's a third times a third, guys? How do you get the decimal for the fractional calculator? I'll tell you just now. Okay, it is 1/9. Okay, so here we have 1/9. Tell me about my variables. What's happening? X times x is? X times x is what? Nice. 1/9 x squared. That's our firsts. What does O stand for? What does my O stand for in FOIL? There we go. Outer. Is it 1 T or 2 T's? English. Guys, this is what I'm doing, maths. Outer. Okay. Outer. That means the outer terms on both brackets. So it's the third x and the 2y. Okay. So way outside of each other. Okay. Now, there we go. Now, what's a third x times 2y? A third x, 1/3x, multiplied by 2y. Nice, Abu. Plus 2/3 xy. What does Tika say? For the first question, why didn't we just multiply everything by 3x? We did, but we didn't do the first question, remember? We voted for the ones we wanted to do. Why is it not 2x, says Olwa? Okay, let's look at the numbers. If this is 1/3 times 2/1 equals. Remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you literally just multiply across. So what's 1 times 2? What's 1 times 2? 1 times 2. So at the top, we have 2 over 3 times 1 is 3. So it's 2/3. And then we had 2 variables, x times y. You can't multiply them. You can't do anything with them. You just have to write them as xy. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Hopefully, I've answered your question. Nice. And now we are on I. What does the I stand for? Inner. Thank you very much, Kwezi. Inner. That's the inner terms of both brackets. So it's these two. So the numbers are the same, but what's different this time, guys? We're multiplying a negative and a positive number. Do you see that? So what is my answer going to have? A positive multiplied by negative. Nice, Tyler and Princess. You guys are so beautiful. It's negative, and the numbers and variables are the same. So it's negative 2/3 x, y. And then what does my L stand for? L stands for last. That is the last terms of both brackets. So it's 2y multiplied by 2i. Again, we are multiplying a negative and a positive number. Nice, yeah, I see you. Negative 4y squared. Now, after you multiply them, you need to check if you can simplify. Can we simplify this? Can we simplify this, what I've just written? Yes, we can, by adding like terms. Yebo. So my like terms are these two guys in the middle. Remember, like terms are terms that have the same variable and exponents. So I should write it somewhere probably. Like terms. Same variables. It's okay, Lisette, you'll have access to this video, okay? Worry not. Same variables and exponents. Yes, I see Abu says they cancel each other out and Quizzy says it's 0, which is correct. Because it's like saying +2 - 2. They're gone. Okay, so what's going to be left? The first and the last term, isn't it? So then my final answer is 1/9x squared minus 4y squared. Whew. Wow. It is 0xy, but remember 0xy means 0 times xy, which is 0, which means it's gone. Okay, now let's check mark allocation for this one. You're going to get a mark for the first term, the last term, and the cancellation of these terms. So you're going to get a third mark so that so if you get it, for instance, let's say you do it incorrectly and you add them instead of canceling them out, you lose the third mark. Okay, Likona, do you have a question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
The screen thing that's here underlined, isn't that also like terms?
They are like terms. That's why I underline them. But look, Likona,
Oh,
2/3xy minus 2/3xy. Do you see why they vanished? It's like saying 2
Oh, yes.
minus. So they vanished. So in the last step,
Oh.
they were gone. Okay.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
There we go. You're welcome. Okay, so that's our marks. I'll do a thumbs up, thumbs down at the end. Let's do number D because you guys voted C and D. So C and D, I'm going to have to write it like here so that I have space. What was your question, Tandoletu? Okay, when you're ready, Tando, you'll let me know. So it's 3 minus x multiplied by x squared minus 3x plus 9. Oh, yes. With a calculator, you say the numerator divided by the denominator, Tando. So if you have a half, let's say you have 1/2, you say 1 divided by 2. So it's the numerator divided by denominator. So it was x squared minus 3x plus 9. Okay, how are we going? I'll zoom out just not Dumela, don't worry. And then we will all take screenshots. Okay, Tando, let me know if I've answered your question. How are we going to simplify this one, guys?
Okay. Sorry to disturb. I think the question Tando was asking was about how to convert a fraction to a decimal on the calculator.
Yes, isn't that how we do it on the calculator? Oh, you mean after you press equals?
Yes.
Oh, after you press, sorry, I thought he meant if it's a half, you get what I mean. On your calculator, you press the button that looks like this. It's a SD. Okay, try it. So press a half equals, and if it says a half again, just press the button that says SD. Okay. Hopefully I've answered you. Okay, we don't call it FOIL, but we're just multiplying everyone with everyone. So I'm going to use green. It is, where's the SD button on the calculator? It's on your right, above the AC button, I think. Look around there, explore. If you have a Casio calculator, I'm not sure about the other ones. Okay, so we're going to multiply 3 with all the terms in the brackets. So with x squared and 3x and 9. And then we're going to multiply negative x with x squared and negative 3x and positive 9. So let's do the green. How many terms do we expect from the green after multiplying all the green? How many terms do we expect from multiplying all the green, guys? 3. So let us do it. No, just the green, Abu, not all of them. Okay. So after multiplying 3 with everybody, we expect 3. So I'm going to write it in green so that you guys can see what I multiplied. So what's 3 times x squared? Nice. Nope. Nope. It's just 3. It's 3 times x squared. 3 times x squared, guys. There we go. 3x squared, isn't it? Why is it x cubed? Remember, x cubed means there are 3 x's, which there aren't. There are only 2, right? So it's 3x squared. All right, are we with me? I feel like a lot of people are confused with that one. No, don't be sorry. I know it's very confusing. So it's 3x squared. Nice. Now it's 3 times negative 3x. So we have a positive and a negative. Thank you. Positive and a negative gives you a negative. And we have 3 times 3, which is 9x. And then the last one is 3 times 9. What's 3 times 9? Plus 27. All right, now we're moving on to the blue. We expect 3 terms again. Let's start. Negative x times x squared. So a negative and a positive give you what? A negative and a positive give you a negative. Someone else is going to be negative. Nope, why is it that? It needs to be blue. Negative, what's x squared times x? X squared times x, thank you very much. X cubed. Nice. Now we have negative x times negative 3x. A negative and a negative give you? Nice, a positive. We have a 3 and 2 x's. And the last one is negative x times positive 9. Negative x times positive 9. Negative 9x. Once again, we have to check if we can simplify. Do we have like terms over here, guys? We have like terms. Equals. Okay, let me write my equals. I'm going to take my highlighter and go to town. So we have an x squared there. We have another x squared there. Beautiful. And then we have a 9x there and a 9x over there. Nice. And then constants don't have, we only have one constant and one x cubed. So I'm going to start with descending orders of x. So I'm going to start with the highest one, which is negative x cubed. It didn't have a like term, so I'm just writing it. All right. So now we go to x squared. What's 3x squared plus 3x squared? Nice, Abu. What's 3x squared plus 3x squared? Thank you, Tsehofatso. Plus 6x squared. All right. Negative 9x minus 9x. negative 9x minus 9x. It's negative 18x. And then we have our constant, which is just plus 27. That was beautiful, guys. Let me show you a mark allocation. We want for that, and for both of these being correct is your third mark. Now I'm going to do my thumbs up, thumbs down while I zoom out for screenshotters. Thumbs up, thumbs down on these questions. How are we feeling? Let me do this. Screenshotters, you can screenshot quickly. Does it matter what order the sum is? No, it doesn't, all right? Unless the teacher says arrange it in descending orders. It just makes it easier to keep track of what you have done. Okay, so you start off with the highest, x cubed, because if they're jumbled up, you don't know what you're doing. It's x cubed and then it's x to the power of 7 and then it's x and then it's a constant. But if they're in order, then you make it easier to follow. Ma'am, how did you get 6x squared? It's 6x squared. Kamukelo. It's from 3x squared plus 3x squared. I'm assuming the screenshots are done now, so I can explain quickly. Look at the yellow highlights. Kamukelo. You see them? It's 3x squared and a 3x squared. So 3 plus 3 is 6x squared. All right. Descending, yes, it is going down. They are going down. Look, it's x cubed, so it's a 3. X squared, it's a 2. Just x, it's a 1, and then it's a 0. You're welcome, Kamukelo. Nice. Okay. Let's see. Did we vote for question 4? Question 4. Yes, we did. And it's almost 50% for both. Oh, that was so close. Okay, A and B have won by 1%. A and B have won by 1%. Okay, so we're going to do A. I think for now, I'm just going to do maybe B, and then we'll come back if I need to do A. All right, because I'm looking at the time now. We still have how many more questions to go? A lot. Okay, so let's do B. Let's do B. We have the cube root of negative an eighth x cubed y cubed all squared with a square root. Okay, now let's see what's happening here. Nice, Abu, we're working inside. Why do these two not cancel each other out? I know someone might have made that mistake. Why can't you cancel the squared and the square root out? I forgot the 3. Oh, it's a cube root. Oh, that's why they don't cancel out. But even if it wasn't a cube root, this negative outside would cause a problem. Do you see that? This negative outside would be a problem. Now let's start inside. Cube root of. What do we do? This negative stays outside. What do we do with our square? What did we do with our gift? If there's time, I will go back to it. Okay, this time at the end of the lesson, I will definitely go back to it. Just remind me. What do we do with the squared, guys? Laws of exponents. The squared outside. It's a nice word that starts with a D. We distribute, guys. Nice, we distribute. So then it's going to be an 8th squared. Why would I write a half? It's because I said squared while I was writing. So it's an 8th squared times x cubed squared and y cubed squared. And we are cube rooting all of this. Nice. Equals. Now this negative is outside. Here it's going to be 1 over 64, right? Because we are squaring 1. 1 times 1 is 1 and 8 times 8 is 64. Now what happens with these two exponents? Laws of exponents. This 2 and this 3 here. It's called power to a power. We multiply them. Thank you, Abu. So it's x to the power of 6. And again, y to the power of 6. And this is all still cube rooted. Nice. So now for my final answer, what's the cube root? Let's start with the number first. Cube root of negative 1 over 64. First question is, can I cube root a negative number? That's my first question. Am I allowed to cube root a negative number? Yes. So we have negative. The cube root of 1 is 1. What's the cube root of 64? The cube root. Be careful, not square root. Cube. It is 4. So we have negative 1 over 4. And then how do we figure out our exponents? You're going to say x to the power of 6 divided by 3 and y to the power of 6 divided by 3. Where did we get that 3? From the cube root. It's this one that was outside. Okay. So then my final answer is negative a quarter x squared y squared. I know a lot of us might have been confused with this one. Let me have a thumbs up, thumbs down, and check in. Thumbs up, thumbs down. A nice check in. Nice, yeah. Where did you get 6 over 3? Gift. Look here. The original exponents were 6, right? We divided by the number outside the root. So if you have the cube root of, let's say, x cubed, right? So you're going to say the x, I'm going to use color to depict it. The one that was originally there is that one, divided by the one that was outside the root. So it's 3 over 3. And 3 over 3 would then give you just x. Do you see? Hopefully I've answered your question. Tika, raise your hand, darling, and tell me where I've lost you. Gift, did I answer your question? How did we get 4? The cube root of 64. Okay, the cube root of 64. Remember, cube root means what do you multiply by itself 3 times? So the cube root is 4 because 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, guys, remember I said we can do A at the end of the lesson if we have time. I'll go back to it. Okay, you guys must just remind me. Okay, number 5. We have not voted for number 5. So I'm going to go ahead and say we must vote in the chat. Okay, so number 5. Oh, so Nabila's already like EF. Number 5 in the chat, let's take a vote. Let's vote for 1 first. Let's vote for 1 first. E and F, E and F. Okay, between E and F, I'm giving you guys 1 vote. Between E and F, which one must I do? E, F, 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 F. Okay, I see a lot of F. We are voting once. Gift, I see you. Stop. Okay, I see F. Guys, if you can do F, I promise you, you'll be able to do E. Okay? If you can do F, I 100% guarantee you'll be able to do E. So let's check. Factorize the following completely. Oh, that's where the trick came from. That's where the trick came from. Okay? So let's factorize. Factorize means what? What are the ways of factorizing? Maybe we should write that down. What are the methods of factorization? Nice, Abu. Common factor. What other ones do we know, guys? Thank you, Kwezi. Let me do this. Factorizing. Okay. Dots, which is difference of 2 squares. Okay. We have trinomials. Okay. And then you said common factor. So here's another tip, guys. You unpack your question. Okay. Ooh, Tyler, thank you. Grouping. You have to read carefully. If this said simplify, you would have been stuck because you would have started to distribute. But the question was to factorize. Oh, you need to read my question. Now let's go down the list, guys. Is this a difference of two squares? First of all, there are way too many terms for it to be a difference of two squares. There are literally 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so no. All right. Is this a trinomial? Is this a trinomial? What do we think? No. What does a trinomial mean? It means 3 terms, right? Do we have a trinomial here? No. Okay. Do we have a common factor? That's an interesting question. Oh, Tammy has already given us the common factor. We do have a common factor. What's our common factor, guys? What's our common factor? Guys who are saying 2, please help me understand. Maybe I'm not seeing it. It is the whole bracket. Do you see that all these terms have this bracket? Now here, we're just going to multiply it by 1. Okay. Offense, please guys tell me why you say 2 so I can help you. Maybe it's something that's genuinely confusing. Do you see the common factor, guys? Okay, before I even move on, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you guys see the common factor? Doesn't help that I move on if you guys do not see the common factor. Okay, it's fine, Offense. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I think after you see the common factor, it feels a little bit easier now, doesn't it? I think after you see the common factor, you're like, oh, that's what's happening. Bokang, raise your hand, dear. Let's talk about where the common factor is. All right. So most of us can see the common factor. So they share a common bracket. So I should actually write here in common factor, it could be a whole bracket. Could be, I was about to write some English that I don't know. Could be a bracket. Okay, so in this case, it's a bracket. Do you see that they all have a bracket? 4 minus p squared, 4 minus p squared, 4 minus p squared. Now, what do we do after we find the common factor? What do we do after we find our common factor? Take it out. We factor it out. That was the point of finding it in the first place. So we said our common factor is 4 minus p squared. So now after you take it out, you have to write what's left. Let's start with the first term, which is that one over there. After you factor out 4 minus p squared, what's left in the first term? The one that's blue currently. Okay, there's 117 of us in here. I'm expecting way more responses than just Abu. What is left in the first? Oh, remember, it can't be -2 because that is a different term. This part is a different term. This is where you divide your terms. It's a x squared that is left. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's look at the second term, which is this one in the middle. Let me do like so. Second term is this whole one in the middle. What's left? A -2 and x. Thank you, Dineo. So we have -2 and an x. I know they are separated, but they are still in the same term, right? They're still in the same term. Now, let's look at the last one. Let's look at the last one. This time, there are no brackets, but I'm going to put brackets over there and ask you, if I factor this out, what's going to be left? It can't be a 0, right? It can't be a 0 because then it wouldn't exist. So what's left then? If it can't be a 0, it's a, oh, you guys are so beautiful. It's a 1. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's a 1 because it's one of the bracket. It's like saying plus one of the brackets. Okay. Now we are not done. I'm telling you that we are not done. Let's check in the first brackets. We're going back to our list. Can we simplify the first bracket even further? 4 minus p squared. Look carefully, Abu. Look at the factors. Factorization. Difference of 2 squares. Do we have a difference of 2 squares in the first bracket? Yes. What are my 2 squares that I'm subtracting in the first bracket? It's what squared minus p squared? 2 squared. So this can be rewritten as 2 squared minus p squared. So my 2 brackets are then what? Nice, Tammy. My 2 brackets are then 2 plus p and 2 minus p. Woo. Before we move on, are we good with that one? Let me take questions with this one. If you are confused, raise your hand right now. Letabo, we simplified the 4. Remember, difference of 2 squares, you want to see what the 2 squares are, right? So 4 can be rewritten as 2 squared. Do you agree with that? Because in your brackets, you need to have your bases that go inside. So in this case, our 2 bases that went in the bracket are a 2 and a p. We're not even done, Bokang. We're still going. We're still going. Okay, nobody raised their hand. Now, in the second one, we have a trinomial. We have a trinomial. Do we remember how to solve trinomials? Trinomials can also be solved as 2 brackets. Nice, Abu. Okay, Abu, you're close, but it's not a plus. Look at the second term. We have an x and an x. What are the factors of 1, guys? This was so easy. What are the factors of 1? Factors of 1. Guys, let's answer the question first. 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. So I can only ever put a 1 and a 1. Now let's determine the symbols in our brackets. Okay. If you have a positive here, what does that mean? It means both brackets have the same symbol. Do you remember that? Yes. A positive means they both have the same symbol. Now, which symbol would that be? You get it from here. It's both negative, negative, and a negative. Okay, are we happy with that factorization? Now we are finally done with this question. Now we're finally done with this question. Let me do mark allocations. It is only out of 4 marks. Imagine, guys, all this work for 4 marks. The first one will be for the common factor, okay? The common factor, you take it out, and then second mark is for the bracket that is left over after taking your common factor. All right? And then, okay, Kumo, I see your question now. I'll be back. And then the 2 brackets for difference of 2 squares, and factorizing the trinomial. Where did the 2x go, ma'am? We factorized it, Kwezi. Look here, we have x squared minus 2x plus 1, right? So we have to make 2 brackets out of this. 2 brackets, because it's a trinomial. What are the factors of x squared? What do you multiply by what to get x squared? What do you multiply with what to get x squared? X and x. Do you agree that it's the only way to get x squared? Let's stop talking about our mark allocations and concentrate, guys. Okay. So it's only x and x. Wonderful. Now, what are the factors of 1? So you've looked for the factors of the first term and factors of the last term. 1 only has a single factor, which is 1 and 1. Now, we need to decide what symbols go inside here. Now, first you look at the second symbol. If the second symbol is positive, it means we have the same symbol in both brackets. The same, okay? And then you look at the first symbol, and that's going to tell you that they are both negative. So it's a negative and a negative. Someone said, where did we get the 1 in the first bracket? Remember, we were left with 4 minus p squared over here, right? And then I told you that if you put this in brackets and you factor it out, what's going to be left? And I said to you, it can't be a 0 because the bracket wouldn't exist at all. Do you understand, Khawhelo? So this one tells me you're saying plus one of the brackets. So you're saying x squared times the brackets and minus 2x times the bracket plus 1 times the brackets, because 1 times the bracket is the bracket itself, which is what we want. All right. Khawhelo, I hope I have helped you out. Let me go up a little bit for screenshots. Thumbs up, thumbs down. This whole question F as a whole, how are we? People who are desperate for E, do you see that it's the same thing? Look at E. We have a 2x minus y and a y minus 2x. The only thing you have to do is take out a negative so that you swap the terms. So then it's going to be x a squared minus b squared so that these two can change positions. Okay. Woo. This is a lot of work, guys. We're working hard. Okay, question 6. I think I'm going to need more space than this. A or B? Question 6, A or B? Question 6, A, B. Okay, I'm seeing way more B than I am A. Remember, guys, you're going to get the memo, so don't be devastated, okay? Okay, I actually think B is missing something because it's 4x squared plus 20x plus space and x squared plus 11x plus space. Oh, that's why it confused you guys. This is supposed to be a 24 at the bottom. And let me check what the other one was supposed to be. Okay, so we swapped them. 3, 6, 24 as well. So they're both supposed to be 24. Do you guys see why this confused you? I also just saw it now. They were both supposed to be 24. Let me do it anyway. Let me do it anyway. So what you're going to do here, I'd say simplify, right? So that means we're not going to end up with x equals something. Okay, that's not going to happen. So we have to factorize all of these and then cancel out. Now x squared plus 5x plus 6. If you use the same methods that I taught you just now, okay, we're going to have what? Okay, let me put my 2 brackets that have to add up to 6. So x and x symbols both have to be positives, and 2 and 3 because those are the factors of 6. Divided by 3 is my common factor at the bottom. If I'm going now, it's because I'm looking at the time. So you can stop me if I confuse you. And then x plus 8, okay, times, tip and times. That means the ones at the bottom will go to the top and the one at the top will go to the bottom. Okay? Yes. Keep, change, flip. There we go. And then at the top, x squared plus 11x plus 24 can be factorized to x plus 8 and x plus 3 divided by, first we have a common factor of 4, right? So it's going to be 4x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay. Now, before I even factorize that one further, tell me brackets that can cancel out already. Which bracket do you see that you can cancel out already? Do you see we have an x plus 8 at the bottom and an x plus 8 at the top? There we go. X plus 3 can't cancel because they are on the same side. All right. So then next I'm going to factorize this brackets. I'm going to do it here to save time. So again, it's going to be x plus 2 and x plus 3. Now, which ones cancel out? We have an x plus 2 at the top and x plus 2 at the bottom, x plus 3 at the top, x plus 3 at the bottom. So what's left? At the top, we have a x plus 3, right? Over, we have a 3 and a 4 over 12. Okay, now let's check our mark allocation for this one. You're gonna have 1 for factorizing there, for the tip and times, for factorizing both top and bottom, and for your answer and the method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marks. Should be 25 marks. No, that is 6 marks. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you say thumbs down, please ask a question so I can help you. Thumbs up, thumbs down quickly. There's only 2 thumbs up. Oh, there we go. Kendra, there we go. Kendra, where did I lose you, ma'am?
Miss, why did you cross out the 2x by the first
X plus
fraction?
2.
X plus 2.
You mean the x plus 2?
Yes, miss.
Because they are common. Remember, if you have x at the top, let's say x over 1 times y over x. Do you see that you have an x at the top and at the bottom?
Yes, miss.
So what do? You divide them, right? X goes into itself once, and at the bottom, x goes into itself once. So they canceled out. So look at the bracket, they are common brackets. So there's a whole x plus 2 and a whole x plus 2, so you can cancel them, as well as a whole x plus 3 and x plus 3, and a x plus 8 as well as x plus 8. Okay.
Okay, thank you, miss.
You're welcome. The 5x has been factorized, Amanda. Did you see when we factorized? So you take this factor and you make it into 2 factors. It's a trinomial. So this whole bracket became x plus 2 and x plus 3. Remember, if we do FOIL, you're going to have 2x, 2x and 3x. And what's 2x plus 3x? It's going to give you 5x. Someone said, how do you get 12 for the final answer? I was left with a 3. Oh, let me not erase it. I was left with a 3 and a 4 and a multiplication sign. So I got 4 times 3, and that's how I got 12. Okay, Sia?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Oh, ma'am. I also wanted to ask why you can you like re-explain how you did x plus 8 and x plus 3 at the second step.
Yeah, how I got the factors. Remember,
Yeah.
this bracket was x squared plus 11x plus 24. So again, the factors of x are x and x, right?
Yes.
If you look at the symbols, the positive tells you that they are the same, and this one tells you that they both have to be pluses. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Now we look at the factors of 24 that add up to 11. So the factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 6 and 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. Do you agree?
Yes.
So that's not the ones we want, because we want the ones that add up to 11. 2 plus 12 is 14, not the one we want. 24 plus 1 is 25. So which ones do we use?
Plus 8.
There we go, because they add up to 11.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, I saw a question in the chat just now. Where did the 3 go? Which 3? We multiplied it, Offense. Last step, we're left with 4 times 3. What's 4 times 3, Offense? 4 times, there we go. Do you see where the 12 comes from? That's why the 3 vanished, because we multiplied it. Yes. Okay. It looks like I have helped more people. We only have 12 minutes left. Solve for x. Okay. Solve for x. Let's hear. Let's vote quickly. You're welcome, Offense. E. A. E. Okay. It seems like everyone's voting for E. And it is such a simple one. You guys are just nervous because it looks hectic. And I understand that. So we have 7x minus 5 over x plus 7 over 3 equals 4 over 3x minus, it is simple. You need an LCD. See, you just figured it out. X minus 2 over x. So what's our LCD, guys? Lowest common denominator. What's our lowest common denominator? It's 3x, okay? They either all have a 3 or they have an x. Do you see that? So 3x is our LCD. What do we do with our LCD? Tell me what we do with our LCD. Multiplied by everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go here and say times 3x times 3x times 3x times 3x. Okay, so on the first one, we have 3x divided by x. Which ones cancel out? What cancels out on the first one? We already had an x, right? So we're left over with 3. So the x's are gone, poof. And we're left with 3 times 7x minus 5. Nice. Plus. Let's look at the second one. What cancels out in the second one? We already have a 3. So what's left? An x. So you have 7x equals. What cancels out in this one? The whole 3x, because we already have 1. Boop, boop. So we're left with 4. And we have a minus. What cancels out in the last one? The x. So we're left with a 3. So it's going to be 9 times x minus 2. Now we have to distribute. Okay, so times this 3 by everyone in the bracket. We have 21x minus 15 plus 7x equals 4 minus 9x plus 18. If you're confused, all I did was distribute. Multiply this in. Okay, so this side we have 28x plus 9x, because I took the 9 over, equals 4 times 18 is 22 plus 15, because I took the 15 over. So 37x equals to 37. Divide both sides by 37. What's my answer? X equals what? Offense, I can't. You can rewatch this video. We have 8 minutes left. So I have to, yeah. 37. Therefore, x is 1. Ma'am, how do we know that we have to add the times 3x to the equation? It's the LCD. So look here, Kamukhelo, look at all the denominators. There's a x, there's a 3, there's a 3x, there's a x, okay? So they all have a 3 and an x. So you multiply them. So you're going to say 3 times x, which is 3x. So then you multiply everyone by the LCD, so that they are left with the one they didn't have. So the x's will cancel out because it already had the x, but the 3 stays because it didn't have a 3, okay? This one, it already had a 3, but it didn't have an x. So the 3's cancel out and the x is left over. Here we had both the 3 and the x, okay? So then it just cancels out. You're left with 4. And the last one, we only had a x, so the x's cancel. You're left with 3 times 3, and that's where the 9 comes from. Okay, that 9 comes from this 3 that was left over times the 3 that was already there. Okay, and then we solve for x. Remember, when you solve for x, variables on one side and constants on the other side. So variables, you're welcome. On left, constants, there we go. On the right. Okay. I think we only have time for one more. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to draw a graph. You guys will be looking at that in the memo. And would you guys like me to do one of the problem solving? I think we should do one problem solving. Question 11, A or B? Let's vote. Okay, Abu says A. I'm guessing when I was say, oh, I thought that you were gonna say B. A, okay. Oh. There we go. I don't know what I did there for a moment. Okay, we're doing A. Looks like everyone's voting for A. Okay, a photographer has a bacteria enlarged 5 times 10 to the power 5, shows that it has a length of 5 centimeters, okay? What is the length of the bacteria if the photograph is enlarged 2,000 times? Only give your answer in scientific notation. Okay, so the bacteria that has been enlarged this much has a length of 5, and this will be the same bacteria. If it is only enlarged 2,000, we want to know what the length is. So I'm putting an X because I don't know what the length is. And then we cross multiply. Ma'am, it's 20,000. Is it 20,000? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it is. It's 20,000. 20,000. Thank you very much, Kuselezo. Okay, let me go back and check if you guys get what I just did here. Think of ratios, okay? So this one is 5 times 10 to the power 5, and we know it's 5 centimeters, okay? And this one, which is 20,000, or it can be written as 2 times 10 to the power 4. We want to know what the centimeters would be. So now let's cross multiply. Okay, boop, boop. Okay. That's what I'm going to need a calculator for. I'm going to need you guys to help me here. Okay, so 5 times 20,000 is equal to X times 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals to 5 times 20,000, which I have no idea how much that is, 20,000. And then after we do this, we're going to say, therefore, X is equal to the 5 times 20,000 divided by 500,000. I'm going to need someone to use the calculator and tell me how much it is. Ma'am, it's 20,000. I thought oh. Someone use your calculator quickly, please. We only have 3 minutes left. 0.2, but it says writes it as scientific notation. So let's revise scientific notation again. We want our comma to be there, right? If we're doing scientific notation. So then you're going to have, therefore, X equals 2, because the comma is going to be there, times 10 to the power of, is it a negative or positive exponent? If we're moving it to the right, is it a negative or positive exponent? Tammy says negative. I want to hear what everyone else has to say. Nice, Abu. Thank you. It's a negative exponent. And how many times did we move it? How many times did we move the comma to be where we wanted it to be? -1. Beautiful, guys. That is the end of our lesson. Please do the poll. Okay, do the poll while I show you guys my exam tips that I made for you guys. We were gonna have a brain break, but there was not enough time. There we go, you guys. Let's look at our exam tips while you guys do the poll. First one says, make sure you have all the stationery, guys. You want to know how many learners do not bring the calculators when they're writing maths? Then it's a problem and I want to cry. Make sure when you're writing the exams, you have all your stationery. Okay. Second one is always read instructions before you start writing. Instructions has things like, how many decimal places do I round off to? Right? How should I number? Should I start my questions on a new page? Such things matter. Remember to read the question carefully. Remember what I said about the difference between solve and simplify. Read the questions carefully. Pay attention to the time and don't spend too much time on a question you don't understand. Okay, so those are my nice exam tips and tricks for you guys. Yes, yeah.
Hello, ma'am, again.
Hello.
Ma'am, can you go back to factorization? I forgot to take a screenshot.
Okay, no problem. Someone just wants to take a screenshot of this. And then I'll go back up to the factorization for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We are getting the memorandum. It should be today, I think, or tomorrow. Today or tomorrow, but you are getting the memo. All been set up and everything. Okay, we should be done. Let me go back to the factorization.